Janna.
And I'm Greg from Cutting Edge Stencils.
Today we're going to show you how to stencil this beautiful mural using our ultimate Faux Fresco Stencil Kit.
These faux frescoes look great over lightly textured plaster, a simple faux finish, or even a solid base coat. We stenciled this master bath over a blue plaster finish.
Here's what you'll need: your Cutting Edge Stencil Kit, a dense foam roller, artist and stencil brushes, acrylic paints, large styrofoam plates, low-tack painter's tape, and paper towels. First, you need to work out your composition. We chose to put large fruit trees in the foreground, softened by ground cover of various plants. Using the ultimate Fresco Stencil Kit, let's start with the large fruit tree. Our tree stencil comes in two parts for the ease of installation: the trunk and the top. Position the trunk stencil on the wall and secure it with a few pieces of blue painter's tape. Load your dense foam roller with brown acrylic paint, making sure to offload any excess paint onto a folded paper towel. Now simply roll over the trunk stencil, applying light to medium pressure. Using a stencil brush with a little bit of raw umber acrylic paint, shade one side of the trunk to give it dimension. Remove the stencil. Now it's time to connect the small gaps left by stencil bridges with an artist brush and brown acrylic. Position the top of the tree stencil so it connects to the trunk. Roll over the stencil, gradually building paint coverage using light pressure. It's always better to start with a lighter touch and build coverage rather than just pressing hard and getting undesirable paint seepage under the stencil. Again, use a little raw umber shading for the edges of the branches to give them dimension. Remove the stencil and connect the most obvious bridges with an artist brush. Next step, leaves. We start with the darkest layers of the leaves, adding lighter layers on top. This creates a realistic-looking tree canopy with depth. For the dark layer of leaves, we're going to use olive green acrylic paint and our citrus leaf stencil that has 6 different leaf clusters. Position the stencil so one of the leaf clusters naturally grows out of the branches. Load the roller with paint, but don't forget to blot off some by rolling it on the paper towels. Simply roll over the leaf cluster with your roller. Then take a stencil brush with raw umber acrylic and darken the tips and bottoms of the leaves. This simple touch will give a sense of dimension to the leaves. Repeat this for each dark leaf cluster that you're going to stencil. Make sure to use different leaf clusters so your stenciling doesn't look repetitive. For the second layer of leaves, we're going to use a mixture of colors: some fern green, rusty brown, some olive green, and sage. We want to introduce all these colors at once into one layer of leaves by creating what we call a camouflage roller or camo roller. Don't forget to offload the extra paint onto a paper towel. Place a different cluster from your citrus leaf stencil on top of the darker leaves and roll over the stencil with your camo roller. You can see that the leaves have a nice blend of colors to them and are lighter than the previous layer, adding a sense of depth to our canopy. These leaves don't need extra shading, so just keep rolling more clusters with your camo roller. Finally, we're going to create the brightest leaves at the ends of the branches. These are the sunlit leaves that are sitting on the surface. I'll use a brush, a mix of light acrylic colors, and a small stencil called Little Leaflets. Simply pounce the color through the stencil openings to get instant sunlight on your branches. Go for solid, opaque coverage. You want to block out the colors underneath. Now we're going to stencil a lemon from our fruit assortment stencil. Use a couple of yellow acrylics and pounce with a brush to get good opaque coverage. You want your coverage to be solid, to block out the leaf shapes under it, so the brush should be pretty loaded with yellow paint for this step. Make sure to use an up and down motion with your brush to avoid seepage. Shade an edge of the lemon with a little raw umber, then add a highlight by pouncing in a little off-white acrylic. Add more fruit here and there, but don't get carried away or it can look unnatural. You can always add a leaf or two on top of your fruit so it looks like it's hanging within the tree. Now let's add some ground cover plants at the bottom of the tree. Note that we made the background color here darker. This will help to make your foreground stenciling stand out. The same layering technique applies here. Start with your darkest plants for the background and add lighter ones as you move to the foreground. A simple rolling technique quickly gets the job done. Your final result is a beautiful faux fresco, reminiscent of the Livia's Garden Roman frescoes. It's so easy when using our Cutting Edge Stencil Ultimate Fresco Kit. Cutting Edge Stencils. It's beautiful made easy.